I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show, we have Josh Katz, CEO and founder of YellowHeart. Josh, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Great to be here, Ashton. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into NFT, ticketing, music, the entertainment industry, hopefully being overtaken and improved by blockchain technology. Let's start off the conversation by just getting an overview of some of the solutions you and your team at YellowHeart have been working on for this industry, and then we'll dive into all the details.
Absolutely. So, we've been building a blockchain-enabled ticketing platform that basically issues tickets as non-fungible tokens with rules, built into them, both on how they can behave and who the participants are and who gets paid, plus, various other utility. And the way that we are approaching this is we're looking at the live event industry and ticketing in particular as something that's never evolved. It's been a area that has been buy something, get proof you bought it, it lets you in the door, it dies. That's it. Whereas with YellowHeart, we've had the approach where through blockchain technology and particularly non-fungible NFTs, we're able to actually have the ticket come alive when you buy it. And when you scan it, it actually comes to life and your journey begins. So it's basically the evolution of ticketing, whereas with many industries, things need to evolve. And because of various factors we could discuss, ticketing has just never evolved over all these years.
Very interesting. I like that complete paradigm shift to live tickets, and looking at blockchain use cases in industries that where they could solve big problems, specifically not in the financial sector. How can blockchain improve the world elsewhere? I've always thought that ticketing was a great use case because I've seen and personally been affected by buying tickets that were fake, or scalpers that are buying up tickets and gouging people, and all these other issues with ticketing. I feel like NFTs could also be like a solution for that.
That was the original premise behind YellowHeart, was to weed out bad actors. Live event ticketing, as many know, has suffered from, fraud and counterfeiting and all types of, negative activity that's really affected the fans and their ability to buy tickets. It's also a fragmented industry where you have large players like Ticketmaster and StubHub and Vivid and all these companies, and none of them have technology that actually speak to each other, where often, the same ticket can be sold multiple times across platforms and nobody knows. And there's been a lot of situations, I've heard it from Mumford and Sons and Pearl Jam and a lot of artists who have fans showing up to find out that their ticket was already scanned because it was sold across multiple marketplaces. So that's a big problem to solve that just actually comes naturally by using this technology.
Definitely. And I feel like, that while there is a lot of problems to solve, you have to introduce the technology in a way that's family friendly and easy for everyone to use, and people are excited to use it. And I know a lot of those people that have been going to concerts for decades, and they really appreciate those ticket stubs and like the paper stub and putting it on their wall when they get home. And I feel like NFTs can replicate that in a way, and hopefully bring even more functionality to the ticket once it's been printed.
No question, it does that. And it creates a, stub, so to speak. And with what we're doing, we're trying to actually really enhance those 3D art, really cool collectability, regenerative tickets, so every single one is unique and they become very collectible. And then, of course, you could go past the stub and get into the utility that could be programmed into the smart contracts, and the ability for the ticket, to not only look great and be collectible, but have collectability past the event because it still has, actionable opportunities in it. So imagine you coming home from a great concert or sporting event and your ticket actually has more to give.
Awesome. And, with a lot of these problems, I feel like Ticketmaster also, as one of the biggest names in ticketing, has a bit of a stranglehold on the best venues, and like the tier one concerts. I feel like the industry is hard to break into unless you have something super unique. And NFT ticketing and adding extra utility is definitely super unique. Can you talk about breaking into the industry, disrupting the norms, and having this paradigm shift to ticketing 2.0 and how hard that might be?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. And if you look at the landscape, particularly in the US, Ticketmaster owns, over 80% of the ticketing contracts and the venues. What they do is, only in the US is it legal to have exclusive ticketing contracts for venues. Outside of the US, in most countries, it's actually illegal, where it leads to, monopolistic behavior, and which clearly has happened in the US, and there hasn't really been proper regulations around this. Whereas in Europe, it's illegal to actually have a exclusive ticketing provider. Companies must entertain any ticketing provider, and if you're an act and you come in and you say, oh, I want to use YellowHeart, or I want to use this platform, they have to use it. And that's the way that works. In the US, that's not the case. So Ticketmaster, who is owned by Live Nation, is an interesting dynamic because Live Nation is also the largest promoter. So what that means is they are the bank behind most major concert tours. So if you're a major artist, you're a Beyonce, a Coldplay, U2, Pearl Jam, whoever it might be, Live Nation will come to you and say, listen, we want 100 dates, and here's $100 million advance, and here are the venues you're going to play, and go figure, they're all Ticketmaster venues. Mm-hmm. And then they control those tickets. And their goal as a company is to maximize revenue for their shareholders, as it should be. Mm-hmm. So in doing that, they're basically doing any means necessary to make the prices as high as possible so that they can make as much money as possible. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, what that also generally means is them not allowing tickets to go off their platform, mm-hmm. where up until about 6-7 years ago, there was what's called fan club. And an artist can basically say, hey, I have a fan club, and I'm going to take 5 to 10% of my tickets and give them to the fan club members, my most loyal fans. Ticketmaster realized that those tickets were actually going off platform. They were generally good seats, and they were being sold at what's called face value, which to them is not where they want to sell tickets. They list them at a low price called face value for optical reasons purely, yet nobody's ever been able to actually buy a good seat at quote unquote face value. It doesn't actually exist, where the tickets are spoon fed out to whoever's going to pay the most. And often, it leads to, nefarious players and actions and things that really are not great for the fan and the consumer. So, to really circle back to your question, it's a very hard thing to break into, and we have been going about it in a way where we know that the product is much better. It's much better for the fan. It's much better for the artist. And the hopes are that in today's world, where there's great transparency across social media, across now blockchain, and throughout the world, where people have a voice, that venue operators, teams, artists are going to do right by their fans and themselves, and wake up and say, listen, there's a better solution now. There's better technology. We want to use that. It's going to serve us. It's going to serve our fans. And of course it serves the fans, because actually they can be identified. And with the use of on-chain analytics, we could see if the same wallet that bought the ticket redeemed the ticket. We could see if there's a wallet that's holding 12 tickets but redeemed none of them and suddenly was distributing them. We can see all of the actions on the blockchain because it's actually transparent, and that leads to actually fair play for the first time, which is pretty awesome for the artist. The other thing, or for the fan also, what's great also for the artist is that, as you had mentioned, these are ticket stubs that, commemorate a moment. It's a POAP. It's a, something that says, wow, I went to that U2 concert. I saw, Travis Scott. I went to see, Drake. I mean, and, myself as a music fanatic, live music fanatic, I have envelopes of ticket stubs of every concert I went to as a kid. And they're just these little square pieces of paper. And in the world of NFTs, they become something that's super artistic. They can have playlists in them. They can have additional multimedia. They can open up other opportunities to join a community. They also are just collectible as is, so they actually can be traded. And what it does is it actually creates an annuity for the artist where, you know, they could play a show, they could sell tickets, people can opt into a community and other things with those tickets. But they also are pieces of art that can be traded across open marketplaces and create a river of nickels for the artist.
Yeah, great point there. And I was going to ask you about, you know, creating more value and more importantly, connection directly between the artist and the fans. You know, myself as a fan, I wish I could go give money directly to the artists, you know, for their album or for their songs. There's always so many intermediaries in the way. That's a whole nother industry besides just the ticketing part, you know, it's just the music industry in general. But I feel like NFTs have an advantage of connecting the artist to the fans and hopefully reaping more rewards for the artists. You know, I've seen in the smart contracts of NFTs, you know, on the resale market, there can be extra every time it's resold, more goes back to the artist directly, something that wasn't possible before NFTs. And, you know, not just the ticket stubs, but like the songs and albums and artwork itself could also all be NFTs. Are you guys working in that area as well?
We are. You know, we've built out native streaming. So just to take it back a little bit, you know, in order to develop the best fan experience, YellowHeart's developed its own crypto wallet or NFT wallet. The wallet, we call it an app, but it's actually a wallet. It's really a hybrid. But what we found was that MetaMask and some of these other wallets are not meant for entertainment or live. So they're great to store crypto. Now a lot of them store NFTs. MetaMask has obviously made strides adding media now. That was actually very recent in the last few months. A lot of NFTs still won't show up with multimedia, but you know, it does exist. Whereas we built our own wallet that has functionality such as rotating QR codes with the user's public keys embedded. So we actually know who's checking into an event. But we also built music and video streaming native. Now, the reason that we built those initially were to enhance the customer experience or the fan experience. So you could actually put a ticket out that you go to a concert and the next day, maybe there's a live stream of it, audio and video or video. So we've been actually also putting out NFT albums and music using the same technology. We just recently, last week, put out Imagine by Julian Lennon, you know, as a, it was the first time he ever recorded his father's iconic song. He did it for Ukrainian refugee relief, and we put it out as NFT only, whereas BMG is going to be putting it out to DSPs, I believe, next week, but right now it's only available as NFT, and the NFT is not on IPFS. So what we do is we host it natively so it can't be ripped, and you actually have to own the NFT to listen to it. But it ties back to our wallet, which has all this functionality in it, but it's all to the benefit of the fan. We built it so that we could have audio streaming, video streaming, and all these cool things that could actually work with our tickets.
Wow, very cool. I like that. And you're right about, you know, sort of giving exclusive early access to hopefully people in the fan club and the fans to be able to buy NFTs and give back to the artists and support a good cause. Now, with that, I feel like there's either way, you know, with tickets, there's normally a secondary market where scalpers are buying up the tickets and reselling them. I feel like the case with NFTs right now often is if there's an exclusive drop or an airdrop, often they're also bought up right away, and sometimes people are doing that for pure profit, not just because they like the fans. Do you see, you know, that problem sort of is transcending into NFTs and becoming the same problem that was with scalpers in the old days?
So I think by all means, there's a lot of money there and the scalpers are going to try. I think it's up to the artist and the industry to basically shut it down. Now, using blockchain allows for pure transparency, which is great. I'm sure there eventually will be scalpers that have 2,000 wallets, the way right now scalpers have 2,000 credit cards. and they're going to be out there trying to do it. But, I know our company has on-chain analytics where we're monitoring every single wallet that holds our tickets. So if you're buying it with your wallet, and we watch where it's headed and we see who's redeeming it, and we are very, very quick to label what we believe are scalpers and shut them down and not allow them to buy. Now, it doesn't mean they can't open another wallet in a second and try to buy again, but how long could that go on for? Eventually, you start to see what's happening. You start to see who's buying, who's selling, and blockchain offers ultimate transparency, which has the ability to absolutely shut down scalping. So that's the goal here, is to, give the artists the opportunity to sell to their fans. I also think that artists need to not be worried about optics as much and the teams, and they need to price correctly. Often tickets are underpriced for optical reasons, and then the market drives them to a higher price. The only artist that's done it correctly is the Rolling Stones. The New York Yankees do it correctly, where Yankee tickets are extraordinarily expensive, but people will pay for them. And the best part is that as a fan, if you look at the Yankees, for instance, to have a 60,000 people fit in the stadium, there's often tickets for under face value because the quote unquote face value is so high. So a game comes around and someone can't use tickets, or they're available, they go lower than the face value, and the fan actually thinks they're getting a great deal. So it's the inverse of it, and it actually works really well, because who doesn't want to feel like, whoa, that's a $700 ticket that I got for $300? Yeah. Whereas if it was $150 and you pay $300, you feel like you're getting ripped off. So it's purely optical.
Definitely. It's funny how perceived value works like that. And now, one of the issues that I've heard from people that hear about NFT ticketing or cryptocurrencies is that they don't know how to buy the ticket with cryptocurrency, or they feel like it's going to be extra confusing. And I'm guessing that you guys have found a way to be able to purchase it with your credit card, to not have to use cryptocurrency. I'd love to hear about that, and also, if you think there are advantages to actually using cryptocurrency to buy the NFTs or the tickets.
So, we built our own credit card processing for crypto. We looked at some of the options out there in the market, and our CTO made the decision to build it himself. So we did. And now it's built, and we're actually seeing over about 95% of our ticketing transactions on credit card. And the reason for that has been, just in my opinion, and it's just an opinion, is that the behavior of crypto holders is to hold. So when I go to buy something, I say, okay, my dollars are still worth $1 tomorrow. My ETH could be worth more. In this environment, it'd probably be worth less. But I don't want to part with my ETH. I want to part with my dollars. So that's the behavior we've been seeing. Interestingly enough, we have ticketed a bunch of NFT and crypto conferences. And even in those cases, we're seeing not quite 95, but we're seeing high percentages of credit card purchases from native crypto people. We do see ETH purchases for sure. But not even close to 50-50 or anything like that. So that's really where things are.
Very interesting. And is your team building out a crypto tokenomics ecosystem, or a way that you guys have a native cryptocurrency that sort of brings sustainability to the YellowHeart ecosystem?
Yes. So we are the technology partner and the first user partner of what's called the YellowHeart protocol. The token actually just came live this week on Bittrex Global and will be coming onto other exchanges soon. And that token is going to be driving tremendous utility through the YellowHeart platform and hopefully other platforms, with the goal to really power what we consider to be a peer-to-peer exchange of live events, where people will be able to come on, mint tickets, and sell them right to fans. And when fans buy them, have the option of opting into a community to be part of it. Because if you think about it, you go to a live event, it could be a game, it could be a concert, and you're part of a community. You're all excited to be at that event. You might even hang out ahead of the event. And if it's like football, for example, you're tailgating. If it's a concert, maybe you're in a bar having a drink, a beer before it, then you go to the event, you have a great time, you're yelling, you're high-fiving, if it's music, you're dancing, you're interacting, and then poof, it's over. And everyone scatters like ants and it's done. Yet you're like, wow, we all experienced that together. What happened? Whereas with NFTs, what our goal is to sell a ticket, and that ticket is your key to joining the community. You don't have to, but you have the option, and we're looking as a protocol level to have the hearts power these communities, where people, whether it's the YellowHeart, company, or whether it's other companies using this protocol to enable ticketing and community building. And that's really what it's all about, because that's frankly what everyone just wants, is to find other people that have similar likes to them and be able to interact with them.
Fascinating, Josh. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that, how all of that works, and I'm going to dive into the platform myself. For the viewers that want to learn more about the YellowHeart protocol, NFT ticketing, and all things that your team is working on, what is the best way for them to learn more and to get involved in the community?
Yeah, so the YellowHeart protocol has a Twitter that I encourage everyone to join and just participate in. User feedback is paramount on everything. We want to hear from the community what they like and what they don't like, and our entire goal is to please the community. And then you have YellowHeart, the ticketing platform, and the entire goal there is to create a symbiotic relationship between fan and artist, and we see our job as actually just getting out of the way. So when it comes to that, I think Telegram and Twitter are great places to be. YH.io is the marketplace for the tickets and for YellowHeart. So we want to hear from everybody. So
sounds great. Josh, I will leave those links in the description box below as well. Make it easy for the viewers. Thank you so much for bringing all this knowledge about NFT ticketing and the entertainment industry. All the best with YellowHeart moving forward, and let's follow up in the near future.
Great. Thank you.